April 2024, Central Texas. After a last-minute location change, I've set up all my equipment to capture the total solar eclipse. I had spent the previous months testing and scripting software that runs on my laptop where I pre-planned all my camera's exposures. All I had to do was take the solar filter off at the right time and enjoy totality hands-free. I thought I was ready. I had run many tests to know exactly how many photos a second my camera could capture. I knew exactly when I needed to check and verify focus. I knew when I could change the battery. But as it turns out, the universe doesn't give a f*** about my testing. Start my video recording. Let's see if I can... Yep, that's fine. Video recording's going, sweet. That's going. So I need to remember to take off my filters at the right time. Woo! Don't look at it. Make sure you use your glasses. Not yet. My timing looks way off. We're 30 seconds away. Oh, it's already going on. I was way off. Totality! Woo! Beautiful. Careful. I was like 30 seconds off.
Oh, because we are all the way here.
Yep. Oh, beautiful.
Now I can see without.
My original plan was to rendezvous in a small town hosting an eclipse party. They promised lots of eclipse chasers and hot showers. Unfortunately, when we got there, there was almost nobody there. It was a giant empty parking lot next to the highway, and the highway was loud. And worst of all, no showers, no eclipse chasers, no bueno. We decided to relocate to the countryside with open space for our dogs to play. We found such a place and drove about 45 minutes south. Little did I know that that decision would contribute to my disaster. Back home in California, while I was verifying how quickly I could trigger my camera, I also typed in the GPS location of that original small town in Texas. The software on my laptop uses that GPS location to calculate the contact times. I could then run a simulation and verify that every photo that I planned to take was actually taken. I ran this simulation many times over the course of a month, and I built confidence in my settings and setup. Fast forward to Texas. We moved 45 minutes south. In eclipse photography, timing is everything. The most dramatic time to take photos is about 10 seconds before and after totality. If you change your location on the Earth, you're changing the contact times. I really needed this GPS receiver to tell my laptop exactly where we were in order for it to compute the correct contact times. So while I'm standing in that field waiting for the eclipse, my laptop believes we're 45 minutes north in that small town. And the time difference between the two spots? It wasn't a few seconds, but over 30. I knew that when the sky went dark and totality started, that I had messed up, that I was going to miss capturing the best moments. I didn't plan for or have a way to make an emergency timing change. I feared that if I tried to in the moment, I'd probably mess it up and completely miss totality. So I had to accept my fate and be content with whatever shots I got. To create this time lapse, I thought it might be neat to see it centered on the moon rather than the sun. I used some software I wrote that lets me pick points of contrast on the moon's silhouette. The program then performs a linear regression to fit a circle. With that circle in hand, the software can then translate the image so that the moon is in the dead center of the frame. The Texas weather forecast called for partly cloudy skies. As you can see here, there were a lot of clouds. There was a real chance we could miss totality entirely. But I actually think the clouds added a lot of drama to these images, and I snapped extra frames as the clouds passed by. We were set up next to a pond, and after the light faded, the frogs started chirping, thinking it was dusk. Beautiful. Wow. That's awesome. Why did I fail? In engineering, we use a technique called the 5 whys. To identify the root cause of a failure, you keep asking why until you identify the human error. Let's try that now. Why was I 30 seconds off for totality? Because the software was using the wrong GPS coordinates. Why was the software using the wrong coordinates? Because it defaulted to the previous town's location. Why didn't I update the location? Because I didn't realize it was a required manual step. Why didn't I catch the location error before totality? Because I didn't cross-reference the contact times with my Eclipse timer phone app. Why didn't I cross-reference the location or verify contact times? Because I didn't make a checklist and got complacent. A contributing factor to my complacency, I didn't write this software. I bought it. The simulation doesn't even use the GPS antenna. It requires you type in a static location. So for a month running the simulation, it appeared like everything was working. The GPS time was displayed, system time error, and it even reported the number of satellites it was seeing. I had assumed it would also use the real-time GPS data. But I skipped a critical step, reading the manual. I was completely blind to the fact that updating your location was a required manual step specified in the manual. This is why the missing checklist is the ultimate root cause to my failure. If I had simply cross-checked the contact times on the laptop with the contact times of the Eclipse timer app on my phone, it would have clued me into this issue hours before totality. I will be using a checklist in Spain 2026. It really upsets me that using a GPS antenna requires a manual step. I don't want to fail again. Instead, I want to design out this failure mode and to provide a better user interface with situational awareness. Enter PyControl. I've spent the last 6 months building my own software. It's currently designed to address the shortcomings of the commercial software. It's currently built around libg Photo 2. And while I've got it dialed in for my Nikon Z7, I've made the entire project open source, so if anybody wants to, they can tinker with it. Thank you for watching to the end. In my next video, I plan on building a solar eclipse simulation box so I can dial in my camera settings and test my checklist. Hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you.